Okay, we're going to record for those of us who are unable to be physically in the space but are holding the space alongside us energetically. So, welcome,
Okay.
welcome. All
Okay.
right,
Okay.
good, thanks. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay.
Right, all right. Let's get our intentions right. So if we can get into a nice, comfortable spot up right where your breath can get through your body, right? Let's first take a couple of just regular breaths to just feel your breath this morning, this rising. First, we give thanks for rising, opening our eyes today. Giving thanks for this breath right now that we're feeling and really be in tune with your breathing right now, one with your breath. And let's take a deep breath in, hold, and release. Really set your intentions and be present this rising. When you take in your breath, take in everything you want today's call to be, what you want today to be. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about yesterday. Just be present in the now. And then release anything that is blocking you and not serving you anymore. Let's take a deep breath in and hold and release.
Okay.
Give thanks, give thanks. You come back and take that nice breath.
Ashe.
Giving thanks for rising today.
Giving thanks, yes. And so looks like the rest of the family in. It's in the waiting room there. So, welcoming you all back into the space, back into the Sacred Responsibility book study. We are now moving through chapters 9 and through 12,
Mm,
9 through 12. And as with every book study that we do as a collective, no person left behind, right? So, whether you are completely caught up in the reading or not, you're right on time because we will, of course, be sharing by way of some slides what we'll call the cheat sheet, right?
absolutely.
We can call it the cheat sheet, y'all, where we will be really anchoring the bigger ideas,
Mhm.
those aha moments, and centering the space so that we're all right at where we need to be in terms of what the book is holding
That's
for
right.
us.
That's right.
Okay. So with that, we are in week four. Week
Mm,
four, week four. Okay.
yeah, it's
All
moving.
right.
It's moving.
It's moving. Get there.
All right, so let's open. If you have your books with you, it's page 108, integration. Really quick, but just some food for thought as we get started. All right, so integration. Let these land as sensation before they become answers. Where do I confuse productivity with worth? Where does performance still organize how I show up? What identity am I afraid to release if I stop being?
Mm,
Hmm. Who am I when I am not exceptional? Notice where tension appears, where relief does. You do not need to withdraw from contribution. You only need to stop paying for contribution with yourself. Productivity once protected your integrity. Now unchecked, it can erode it. Audacity is not becoming louder, bolder, or more visible. It is the willingness to remain intact without applause, without certainty, without the safety of being admired.
mm,
Mm. And when productivity loosens and performance softens, responsibility changes shape. it becomes something you can actually carry, not heroic, not exhausting, not identity defining, not something you perform for others, something you live with yourself.
Ashe,
I should.
ashe, ashe.
Mm,
Giving thanks, family. Okay, so we are moving in. And we're going to really dissect, as we do in each session, right? The chapters. Okay. So in this week, we're going to be moving through 9 through 12, and we're in stage 3, which is ownership. So we started in a space of, anchoring into what is it that we're aware of, right? Because we know through the awakening, so many things have come online for us in terms of truth, right?
mm,
About ourselves, about our experiences. And this whole experience is really about moving through how do we live in truth, right? But in the way that we can hold what is only ours to carry, right? In a way that can feel gentle to the spirit as life is lifing,
right,
right?
right.
So in this ownership, we'll be exploring these 4 chapters. Chapter 9 is audacity over performance. And these are like the right? Like the shortened versions of the titles within the book. But audacity over performance. Chapter 10, soul contracts, what belongs to me.
Mm,
Chapter 11, when you stop over explaining.
mm,
And chapter 12, bearing witness to your potential. So in its raw form, some of these, chapter titles might already start to bring something forward in
mhm,
you, and we'll step through, what each can hold. So in stage 2, we ask, how do I meet life accurately? How do I meet it accurately? Right? And that's essentially saying, how do I use what I know? How do I use the evidence that has already shown up in my life? Right? And stage 3 now asks, what am I choosing to own?
mm.
Right? Because we talked about last week the difference in capacity, meaning I can carry it all,
Right,
right? Versus you choosing, which means, but what parts are truly yours
right,
to carry,
right.
right? Okay, so in Audacity, in the chapter, it's about, stopping the performance, as James was sharing, right? Stopping the performance that reliability once required. So we keep talking about this idea of you experience stability because you are the stability,
Hmm.
right? You show up in all the many ways in order to create the stability. What happens when you stop,
Right.
right? And just sitting in that and feeling, well, perhaps is that why we don't stop, right? Why we continue, right? This idea that, oh, but if I stop, the stability, the foundation, if I am it,
Right.
then now it sinks, right? And so there's this idea of, is that true? And do you have the audacity to stop the moving ship
Mhm,
and get off
mhm,
and just say, wait a minute, let me really figure out what I'm supposed to be steering.
mm,
So that's moving from being seen as steady to just simply being steady inside yourself and without display.
I say, I say. Um, and then you have soul contracts,
Mm,
distinguishing what you inherited from what you choose.
mm,
Mm. And just really sit and think about that. What you inherited or what you chose to
mhm,
carry,
mhm,
right? You know, we spoke about this and just in life, um, you can sit and think about your ancestors, your grandfather, your parents, your aunts, your uncles, whoever it is that was models in your life that you saw and what you felt that you chose was something that you carried and you brought into your own life, from that modeling. And you may sit back later on in life as you start becoming more aware and understanding that it wasn't inherited. You chose
mm.
to take that with you. But the great thing is you always have choices to now, once you're aware, to make those changes, whether it's something that will improve your life or a behavior that you want to change,
Yeah.
or one that now you want to reframe and model differently for your kids.
Yeah, it's true. It's like just to give a scenario, even for myself, when I think about what I inherited about what it means to be a woman,
Mm,
Or I'll even go a level deeper to say what I inherited in terms of my conditioning on what it meant to be a good woman,
Mm,
right? A good woman. What she means to her family,
mhm,
what her family means to her, what responsibility looks like. A lot of the conditioning I had in many ways was selflessness,
mm,
right? It was this idea of a good woman is selfless. She just gives of herself to her family, and everyone else's needs are cared for. And somehow she does it with a smile and a hug.
mhm,
And she's a soft place to land for everyone else.
mhm,
And she never complains. Like you ever hear,
mhm.
those past narratives of people, the big mama idea,
Right.
right? In the past of, she did it all and she never complained,
Hmm.
and I thought, right, that inherited storyline
Hmm.
was the ideal,
Right.
was the ideal until I had to recognize it wasn't for
Hmm.
me,
Hmm.
right? Like this idea that you carry it all, you shoulder it all, you create the experience that everyone else is having and calling a good life,
Right.
while not necessarily having that for yourself,
Right.
sacrificing it.
Hmm.
So yeah, just what narratives have you inherited? What ideas have you inherited? What roles did you inherit
Right.
that you no longer choose?
And you think about that really quick and just that's what you saw. And if I'm seeing, say, a dominant male that's always suppressing, other voices because he leads the house, whether good, right, or whatever, they have just this dominance
Hmm.
as a male, and you are the selfless woman that's given up everything. That's the match, right?
That's the match.
That's the match. Whether it's unhealthy or not, that a lot of our ancestors lived like that. But then what does it do to actually start choosing,
Hmm.
right? Yourself and things that you're not supposed to carry to actually become aligned in partnership.
That's where that audacity
Right,
comes online, right?
right.
Like you just have to have the audacity to say,
Hmm.
I recognize that I have been presenting in the face of this other,
Right,
persona,
right.
but that's not fully authentic to who I am. And today I'm going to make the shift.
That's it.
And I'm not really going to worry so much about how the chips fall, as we would say. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Like we understand that things will align
right.
with the truth,
With the truth.
with the
Yes.
truth.
Ashe, ashe.
Ashe.
And responsibility is not proven by how much you carry.
Mm,
It is revealed by how honestly
you
you choose.
chose. Yeah.
You chose. Yeah.
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 Absolutely. Got some folks waiting in the, let's see, admit. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So responsibility is not the proof of
Right.
what you can carry, right? That
Right.
that idea of capacity. How much can I fill my plate with?
Right.
It's more about, but how much can I honestly choose that I know I can effectively shoulder
Right.
because it's truly mine in the first place to carry.
Right. Ashe. Ashe.
Shay.
And
Okay.
then authority. So authority is releasing the labor of explanation.
Mm,
Your truth does not need defense,
mm,
scaffolding, or permission.
mhm.
What is true does not require being rescued.
Yeah.
Ooh. What
Yeah.
is true does not require being rescued.
Hmm.
You don't have to defend it. You don't have to over explain it.
Hmm.
The truth is
Hmm.
the truth. You feel it, you understand it.
Yeah. And it sounds like such a simple concept,
Hmm.
but the truth is, when we are abandoning our own authority
Hmm.
and we are in this energy of over explanation,
Hmm.
resentment lives there,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Every time you have to explain yourself in any space, whether it's a working space, a relationship space, whatever. When you have to feel that feeling of what I said, I'm experiencing is not enough,
Hmm.
or my no was not enough,
Hmm.
right? Going back to that sacred no, the holy yes,
Hmm.
it's just not enough. And, somehow I'm being required
Hmm.
to unfold it all, reveal it all, and peel it back and explain. It can birth resentment because now
Yes.
you're like,
Yeah.
this is more weight bearing than I'm willing,
Right.
again, right? This is more than I'm willing to carry, right?
Right.
And the truth is, there's something we don't sometimes talk about, but even in community, right? When we are building community, whether it's in spaces like this or any other types of spaces, communities around us physically, in our homes, whatever, if we are all individually shouldering what is ours
Mm,
to carry,
hmm
how much of the weight is evenly distributed?
hmm
Sometimes people think, well, we can't pull off the mission if we don't have a leader.
Right.
Everyone's a leader
Everyone's a leader.
in the thing that they've been, right, like ordained as
Hmm
their divine assignment.
hmm
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So it's kind of like when you think about when you go camping or if you go hiking or even if you're in the military,
hmm
they'll say, bring what you can carry.
hmm
Bring what you can
Can carry.
carry,
Yeah.
but I think we've in some ways sometimes have from society been molded to believe, well, if you can offload and bring what you have and everybody else can help you carry it, okay, yeah, maybe that could be necessary sometimes, but only if it's truly yours in the first place. If you're bringing things that are already weighing you down and you really just need to be dropping those bags, but instead you're looking for support to carry it, now you're creating weight for the overall community,
Right. Right.
right?
Right. And sometimes, you choose to carry stuff because of the control you feel. Um,
Mm,
and really it's not for everybody else. It's really because you have things within yourself that you need to identify because that control may make you feel a certain way. And
mm,
releasing it may make you feel a certain way, vulnerable or whatever the case is. Um, but once you are aware of what's happening and you can actually release that, you also let others step
mm,
into things that they should carry rather
yeah.
than you trying to carry everything on yourself. You don't need to be the one that's always leading, like you said, right?
Hmm.
Leading because everybody's a leader in
Hmm.
in a group. You
Hmm.
share
Yeah.
and let everybody carry what they're supposed to carry and come
Mm.
to the forefront.
Ashe,
That's
ashe,
it.
ashe. I mean, thanks.
Witness.
Okay, and then the fourth chapter we went through at this point is witnessing. So that is acknowledging your own capacity without urgency,
Mm,
right? So just because you can carry it doesn't mean you need to carry it all immediately,
mhm,
right? Um, Olivia Dean is a great artist, a singer, and she has a song called Baby Steps.
mm.
And I really love it because it's just that reminder that you can take as a grown adult, you can take baby
Baby
steps.
steps.
So even though it might be yours, even though you might have the capacity, it doesn't have to be all urgent, right? If
Mm,
everything is urgent, nothing's urgent.
mm,
Okay, so potential is not your future self, and we're going to lean into this in
mm,
the future slides here too. But potential is not a future self to chase, right? It is a present truth that you're finally willing to stand
mm,
beside.
mm,
So this idea that your future has to be down the road,
mm.
versus no, you can already imagine it. It's here.
It's here.
It's online. Are you partnering in it, that
Right.
experience or not?
That's it.
Ashe, ashe. So we're gonna crawl forward. All right. So, as always, of course, we go into the roots of words that we live inside, right? We've talked about many times in the study the idea of etymology and just kind of getting a glimpse of what that origin, the original energy on a word is before we start to use it.
Mhm,
So, audacity meant to dare to venture, right? To have this sense of boldness, right?
mhm,
So to dare was not about volume and it wasn't about, audience and display. It was just the act of venturing,
mhm,
So we talk again about having the audacity to choose today what is most authentic to you today, no matter what you said yesterday,
mhm.
no matter what it looked like yesterday, right? Today is today. As we know better, we do better. And then in performance.
So performance,
Mm-hmm.
to carry through completely,
Mm-hmm.
to carry through completely. Performance originally meant completion, carrying something fully through.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. What the book reframes, you have been carrying yourself through spaces that never fully received you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the audacity interrupts that carriage.
Mm-hmm. So it's this idea that at its inception, performance really was about completion,
Yeah.
right? And so if you are in a space where you feel the energy of incomplete,
Mm,
right? You feel like you can't onboard the fullness of who you are,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm,
You're really not performing at your best.
mm.
And so really what it becomes is a stage performance at
Right.
that point.
Right.
Yeah, very
Right.
different.
Yes.
And then witness meant to have knowledge, understanding, and testimony, which for me was an aha because I think so often when we think about witnessing something, it's more about what you saw, right? How you experienced it in some way,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily the truth, which is the knowledge, the act of knowing, not just watching. Like if you think about eyewitness news, it's
Right.
about what this person who's holding a mic says happened, what they saw, right? But it's deeper. It's really about what they understood about it, what they
Mm-hmm.
understood, a testimony, the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit deeper. So bearing witness to your own potential is not about observation. It's about truly witnessing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
so that you have what you need in order to move forward, to close the gap between you and your potential with truth,
Mm-hmm.
with truth. Yeah.
Witnessing yourself.
Witnessing yourself.
That's a word right there. And potential, power, might, ability.
Mm,
Potential was never about future possibility. It was about present capacity.
mm.
Like you said, being in the present. If you're thinking about it, it's right now.
Yeah.
So be present in the now.
Hmm.
Um, and then potentia, the power that already exists in what something is able to be.
Mm.
You are not growing toward it. You are standing inside it.
Yeah.
Mm,
So often, sometimes, like, and it doesn't have to be like a significant other, like, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but sometimes you can come into relationship with just anyone else,
mm,
and somehow they can see your potential.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And you wonder, how is that possible?
mm-hmm.
It's because it's already on you.
Right,
It's already in you,
right.
and they just see it, right?
I say,
And perhaps you might see it too, but you've been in the busyness of distancing yourself from that because you're doing some of the things that you already know are no longer in your best interest. You know what I
mm,
mean?
right,
So yeah, this idea that it's not down the road, it's here right now.
right.
If you can somehow conceive of it and others can conceive of it when they see you, it's because it already
It
exists.
already exists. I say you just got to witness it.
You just gotta witness it. How about that? Ashe. All right. So in chapter 9, audacity over performance, we talk about, the comparison of performance versus presence, right? So performance is asking, will this be received well? Will this protect connection?
Mm,
Right?
mm,
So when you're doing that code shift,
mm,
right, or code switch, or when you're doing that behavior modification, you know
mm,
what I mean? When you're doing the thing that you do to keep the peace,
mm,
so to speak, right? And we talked about on the prior weeks the difference in true peace and false peace,
mm,
and this idea that if you have to mask it, it's not true peace at all. If I
mm,
have to just be quiet in order for things to be silenced here, well, that's silence. That's not peace. You know what
right.
I mean?
Okay.
So performance is asking, yourself, will it be received well? Sometimes it just needs to be received,
Uh,
period.
And that's what
Just
exact.
share what
Yeah.
needs to be shared
Yeah.
and without the fear of what's next, you know?
And it's the same thing like just being you, right? So I'm thinking about work and you think about performance because you said the code switch, right? And I remember I used to always say like, oh, when you start different jobs, especially when you're young, it will influence your life
Mm-hmm.
because how you are at work becomes
Mm-hmm.
how you are in life.
Yeah.
Whether that's, learning how to put the face on or perform or certain maybe even vocabulary that's used. But now I reverse that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, um, because what is meant to be received is going to be received if you're you, right?
Yeah.
So don't go to work and learn how to perform.
Right.
Learn how to be yourself and stand in truth,
Yeah.
and your presence will come to work. So you don't have to code switch because you're going to stay who you are truthfully who you are. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? So,
And that reverses the emotional tax that
mm,
it takes, right? Like there's a real idea out there that, a lot of brown people, even especially brown women even, right, had this corporate flight where
mm,
they're just like, we're leaving these establishments because we don't feel held by them.
mm,
But there can be duality in that, right? Two things can be true. If we stay and allow ourselves to be authentic
right.
and then hold the space to hold it while others come in and do the
There you
same,
go.
then the shift could create, adjustment in these spaces. But the reality is it first takes people to stop code switching, to
Right.
stop performing.
Right.
And you're right. Then you can be at ease. And that's the true work-life
That
balance.
is.
When you are who you say you are in
Yep.
all spaces,
That's it.
there's no additional effort to change
Yep.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And dim your light, be you.
Exactly. And then presence asks, am I here? Am I intact? Am I consenting to this moment? So we have talked about what consent means versus capacity. Capacity is, how much can I hold? Consent is what have I chosen to carry?
Hmm.
And so in those moments where you feel a sense of, I need to, present, I need to be in my performance, in some way. And sometimes it's not that overt.
Right.
Sometimes it's not that,
Right.
clear. But when you start to feel that feeling in your core that's like uncomfortable and you're thinking too far ahead, that's where the anxiety starts to
Mm,
come online, right?
mm,
That those are indications that you're in a performance in
mm,
some way. And it's really about getting back to yourself and saying, wait a minute, am I fully here in this moment?
mm.
Not am I here as in, am I not distracted? No, am I fully here?
Right.
Have I brought all of Tanasia to this moment?
Right.
Or are there pieces of her that she's making smaller in this moment?
Mm,
Right? So am I fully here? Am I intact? Am I fragmented in some way,
mm,
Or am I intact and am I consenting to the moment? So only one of these can sustain truth over time.
mm. And the moment you are not afraid of being seen.
Mm,
You are tired of being required to perform.
mm.
Audacity is letting the strain be seen by not compensating for it. Integrity without audience.
Yeah, yeah,
Integrity without
yeah.
audience.
It's that idea of to not be afraid of letting people see you try.
Right.
You
Right.
know, one of the things that I know I'm pretty proud of, and I don't know well, I do know it's a conditioning that I had to move beyond
Mm,
was this idea of not to let your children see you in disagreement.
mm,
Right.
mhm,
So there used to be this narrative of, oh, don't ever let your children see you disagree. Never let you have to be unified always. And you have
mhm,
to, and James and I have four children. We're a blended family. And it has definitely worked well for us, the opposite,
mhm,
which is to let them see our humanness.
mhm. Yes.
How much of even in our relationship did you have to shed? Because perhaps like you had mentioned, your parents didn't necessarily let you see them
Right.
disagree. So you just thought maybe they never did.
Right. I did it. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that can be harmful too. If you don't see people disagree and you think the ideal relationship in your life is all about agreement,
Right.
then you
Right.
seek it.
Right. Yes. It's not true. You're seeking something that's not in a truth.
Yeah.
Which I was. That example is perfectly said because
Yeah.
I thought that's how, you lived. There was no conflict. There's no, not realizing that
It's
one,
there.
it's there, one, and two, even when it's not, we go back to again,
Yeah.
the dominance and the suppression. When that comes together, my mother being suppressed, my father being so dominant, and her just accepting that until it actually ate her up, even health wise,
Mm,
of who she is, because she's losing herself,
mm,
you know. So yeah,
yeah.
it's not always what you see. Your modeling is not always exactly the truth.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really about having the audacity,
Hmm.
to make the shift, identify it, name it,
Hmm.
right? Recognize the conditioning that was there and switching, having the audacity over the performance.
And just to really quick, a lot of
Mm.
people frown on that, like,
Yeah.
oh, don't let your kids, see what you go through, and because they look at like conflict or something as like it's a bad thing,
Yeah.
right?
Or don't let your neighbors know,
Oh, you
or
know,
don't let your friends know that
yeah,
you both are
right,
unhappy in the moment. Or
right,
okay, but if we don't let anybody know anything,
right. Like, I mean,
we don't have community then. We don't have
exactly,
support.
exactly. I mean, it's all lessons, it's all learning, it's all, learning how to communicate with each other. For them to witness that is for them to also understand how to go about it.
Ashe.
I say.
Absolutely. Okay.
Soul contracts. What belongs to me?
Hmm.
Hmm. Contract versus calling. Inheritance explains how something came into your hands. Ownership asks whether it still belongs there.
Hmm.
Hmm. Capacity is not consent. Strength is not agreement. Not everything you can carry is yours to carry.
Ashe. Ashe. Yeah, yeah. And I know that, in a lot of
Mhm.
spaces when we speak about soul contracts, it's also about like, soul ties,
Yeah.
right? Ties that you have energetically to other people. But when we're speaking soul contract, it could just, like you said, be an agreement,
Yeah.
an inner agreement that you have,
Hmm.
right? Even using that last example, how many people had an inner agreement that, oh, yes, you have to keep your relationship private. You don't need anyone to know when you're having a hard time. Well, you need somebody to know so they can help you, right?
Right.
To support you, right?
Right.
So recognizing where are those contracts that you've had encrypted
Right.
that perhaps now you no longer consent to,
Right.
right? End them.
Right.
And so the moment is really about responsibility that bypasses choice, bypasses integrity. So if you're not allowing yourself to choose differently, choose the same, or just choose, period,
Mm.
right, daily, then you're bypassing your own integrity. You're not living authentically.
Yes.
You get to choose in every moment, every second.
Absolutely.
So what once felt like care quietly becomes obligation
Mm.
because you started out, like I gave that example before, for me as witnessing the women who were selfless, right? But really it was self-abandonment. Witnessing that and thinking, okay, this is how I need to be. This is what I need to do. This is what it means to be a good mom, a good wife, a good woman, a good person, right? Until you start realizing you're deteriorating from it.
Right.
Now it just feels like, oh, this is an obligation,
Right.
right? An obligation, and perhaps I no longer consent to this,
Right.
right?
Right.
Sure. We're going to plow through really quickly so we can get to some comments and questions that anyone may have.
That's right.
So, chapter 11, when you stop over explaining, and this again, we talked about this, right? This idea that explanation is seeking agreement. Sometimes a disagreement, right? An argument is really just from over explaining.
Mm-hmm.
An argument is
Mm-hmm.
you just continue to lay down your narrative, your point of view, and the person does not agree.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they haven't explicitly said they don't agree,
Mm-hmm.
but they're showing you they don't agree. So you keep explaining
Mm-hmm.
because you are seeking the agreement. It's also the design for an argument.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is, do you really, anchoring yourself, do you really need the agreement in this moment? Is it okay if this person believes whatever they want to believe while you believe what you believe?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's not okay,
Mm-hmm.
but the question is to bring it on board, is it okay?
Right.
And then the aha moment is over explaining costs so much because it asks you to carry what is not yours. When you start over explaining, you are overthinking what that person needs to hear.
Right.
It becomes about them more than it becomes about you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not for us to carry.
That's right.
Your understanding, your understanding of what I've said when I just said no,
Right.
that's all on you. And again, we go back to carrying only what's yours. And if everyone does it, it lightens the load, it lightens the weight for everyone, the whole community.
Right. Right. I say then chapter 12, bearing witness to your potential. What witnessing actually is.
Mhm.
Witnessing is not observation, it is acknowledgement.
Sure.
You stop pretending you do not see what you see. You stop bargaining with the version of yourself who already knows.
Mhm.
This is not pressure, it is clarity without escape.
Sure.
Oof.
Once you on board, your inner witness,
Mm-hmm.
Your witness is
Right.
calling you out blow by blow for
Yep.
what you're doing, what you're not doing, and what you know better than. And you can't escape
You
it.
can't
And
escape it.
that's added weight.
Yep.
And this is why we talk about awakening sometimes feeling like more weight before it feels
Right.
lighter.
Exactly.
Because now you've onboarded the awareness of these are the things that you really need to part with.
Hmm.
But until you part with them, you're carrying the weight of both
Right.
the knowing and the continuous doing.
Right. And the truth is the escape will only bring you right back in a cycle to where you're at.
Yeah.
So, to sit in it and to work through it is what is needed.
Yep.
And then the aha moment, potential does not ask you to become more. It asks you to stop pretending you are less.
Sure.
Staying where you are becomes a choice rather than an accident.
Hmm.
And choice carries a different kind of weight than habit.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
What just came like dropped into my spirit on this is that idea of I need another certification.
Mm.
I need another this, I need another that in order to build the credibility to be who I already know I am.
Mm.
The truth is, we know, right? In our awareness and our awakening, we know that doctors are born,
Hmm. Absolutely.
teachers are born.
Absolutely.
Medicine women, healers, shamans, medicine men are born. Like
Hmm.
it's already an assignment on your life. But society has created conditions
Right.
around it all and says, hey, but before we will allow you to perform your duties,
Hmm.
we need you to now go here, go there, get the cert, get the right. And then sometimes when we're on that wheel, we don't know how to stop it.
Hmm.
Okay, now you've done the thing that allows you to do the thing.
Hmm.
You don't need more, right?
Right.
Now just get in there and own the authority you already had before anyone ever gave you any stamp,
Right.
right? Any cert,
Right.
right? And that's the truth.
Yeah.
So it's really owning your own potential.
I say.
Ashe. So in summary, we're switching our posture on these things, right? So the posture we were in prior to ownership was performing reliability. Now, when we're owning it, it's about inhabiting presence.
Mm.
We're not performing that we're reliable. We're not, breaking down in order to remain the stability. No, we're inhabiting presence. We can give you what we have. We can carry what is ours.
Mm.
And that's what that is, right? Posture we were in might have been carrying what you can carry
Mm.
just because you have an extra finger so you can bring the last bag of groceries on it, right? Choosing what is yours to carry, that's how we shifted to ownership,
Mm.
right? Going back, posture that you may have already been in was explaining yourself into acceptance, looking for agreement, acceptance, right? Shifting into, look, owning the fact that we are letting truth stand without
Mm.
defense.
Mm.
It is what it is. It is what it is. And going back to posture you might have been in, imagining future potential, we are now shifting into witnessing present capacity.
Mm. Mm.
What can you do right now with what you have in order to get started? Or what can you do right now to stop?
Mm.
Right?
Right. Right. I say.
All right. So this is not a new identity. It's just about becoming very honest about the one you're already in.
Right.
Ashe.
I say.
Okay, so with that said, family, we open it up now at this time for questions. Oh, looks like we got someone in the waiting room. We open it up at this point now for questions and for comments if anyone is feeling connection to any of the prompts. So on any one of the chapters. So for Audacity, it is where are you still performing reliability instead of inhabiting it? Where are you still showing up and just being consistent in something that you're being nudged to shift from.
Mm.
What identity are you afraid to release if you stop being the steady one, right? Who are you when you're not impressive? When
Mm.
you're not worried about being impressive, being liked,
Mm.
being all the things. That's your raw, most audacious self.
Mm.
And then for the soul contract, what responsibility did you inherit rather than choose? Maybe you inherited through conditioning. Maybe it was through modeling, witnessing, no matter where you inherited it, right? Maybe it was your own self telling yourself to try it that way,
Mm-hmm.
right? But where did you inherit it rather than choose it? And where does the weight of feeling drain, where does the weight feel draining rather than grounding, right? What might you be allowed to set down, not forever if you don't want it to be, but just honestly?
Mm. And just really quick, when you think about the modeling, and it makes me think about like how, we got to understand things are very intentional, even about TV programs
Mm-hmm.
that were put on as little kids. You think about how often, you was put in front of a TV to
Yeah.
see certain shows that even showed family life,
Hmm.
right? And that could be influenced good and bad, and how whoever has an agenda wants to put that show together,
That's so true.
so
So
just
true.
be mindful of that. And uh, on over explaining chapter 11, where do you offer context that is not required?
Mm.
Who benefits from your extra labor and communication?
Okay.
We just talked about that. What
Hmm.
might change if your words were allowed to be sufficient without scaffolding?
Okay. No
Mm.
protection
No
around them. They don't
protection.
need it.
That's it. The truth is the truth. On witnessing, chapter 12, where do you see sense capacity that you are not yet living inside?
Okay.
What emotion arises when you acknowledge who you already are without minimizing it?
Mm-hmm.
And what are you protecting by staying where you are?
Ashay. Ashay. Oh, things
Mm,
get to stay the same. You get to keep all the same friends, all the same everybody. Everything feels safe when it's familiar.
mm,
And sometimes when you have to really own that assignment, it means a shift. And you might start to see a ripple effect in those in proximity to you. So we'll turn it over to you all, family. How are we feeling? What's bubbling up? What are some of the downloads and uploads that we're
down.
experiencing?
I'll go. Woo.
Ashay.
I didn't get to read all of these chapters. However, everything that was just spoken on, I can fully relate. And one of the words that I return to around all of this is safety, the learned behavior, because um, unknowing that the what I was witnessing was in an effort to be safe, to keep me safe, keep us safe. Um, and I resonated with everything that was said, the over explaining, the all of that. I do that now, even in written form. You want to explain to be clear so that you're not misunderstood, or at least I wasn't misunderstood, or holding space for those that may not understand, and all of the things. And I'm recognizing myself, and it's like, stop that, girl. Just say what you got to say, because this how you gonna say it, how you would normally say it. So that reconciling with that, and this didn't come up in and it maybe it did in the chapters, but for me too, one of the learned behaviors that I had to reconcile is judgment and criticism
Yeah.
mm,
of everything and everybody. I thought it was normal.
Mhm.
My grandparents were married for over 50 years, and my grandmother never had a nice word to say about my grandfather, ever. You'd have thought she hated him.
mm,
Mm.
And very critical about everything, everybody. And my mother is the same way. And when I had my son, it really hit me that, oh my God, I'm not raising this child this way. And the other thing was, no one in my family ever said, I love you.
Oh,
mm,
wow. Yeah.
And, and so my son and I would teach it, I would tell him I love him at least 50 times a day.
mm,
Yeah.
And it just became normal. I wanted him to know that he was loved. Now, I always felt protected in my family because we were just a family of fighters. We fight each other and we fight everybody else.
Yeah.
And you know, we could talk, I could talk about you, but can't nobody else talk about you,
Mhm.
sort of thing. And just breaking all of that and realizing, you know, um, I don't like who I am.
Mm.
And I was fighting internally with myself because that is not who I wanted to be. I was seen as the emotional one and all of that, and just realizing it's okay.
Yeah,
Two things can be true.
that's right.
This was rich. Thank you. I still say this book feels like I wrote it.
Give thanks. We are reflections.
Yes. Oh, and that was the other one about being authentic,
Yeah.
your true self, and on the job and not being able to bring your true self, they're not really getting what they paid for. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If if
Okay.
if you're stifling yourself to code
About that.
switch, because the code switching is learned behavior.
Mhm.
It's just getting to the point of recognizing and honoring that, oh, like you said, this ain't even mine to carry.
That's right. That's
And I,
right.
I have a cousin, and you can't, oh, and the other one, the medicine, where you said other people can see it, but you can't see it in yourself. It's like it's already in you.
Yeah.
Doctors are born. I love that. I am going to leverage that all the time. Um, I have a cousin.
Mhm.
She, she will drop anything for family because her parents taught her that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, these people are still people. You don't owe them everything. And but I probably did a lot of that too. But
Yeah.
I see it in her and didn't
Mhm.
see it in myself.
Mm.
But it wasn't framed that way.
Mm.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Yeah. Give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks. What is coming up for anyone else in the family? What's coming up for you all?
Hey, family.
Peace and blessings.
So for me, every category is coming up for me. I'll
Mm.
be honest. The context in which I was using audacity,
Mm.
I'm literally sitting here saying to myself, the audacity of you to take on what you shouldn't be carrying, Um, I do find myself code switching in personal as well as within the workspace. Um, so there's definitely some, opportunity for me to do some work there. um, Integrity without performance.
Mm.
I'm always, I'm going to say worried about my integrity, what I look like to others. That's something that I always carry. And I feel like it's what I do that will show the integrity, who I am as an individual,
Yeah.
which is not the truth. Who I am speaks for itself, right? So
Mm.
why am I overcompensating to do all the things that are weighing me down?
Mhm.
Um, contracts, it's every bit of this teaching has raised awareness for me even deeper. um just seeing my parents, when I grew up, they were very open with having the discussions, arguing, whatever that looked like. They didn't care. It was on Front Street. And I was very intentional when I raised my kids to not have them see that.
Mhm.
um, but in doing that, I've also identified that you don't have to do it the same way your parents did it, but you can do it in a different way so
Mm.
that your children know that teeth and tongue will always meet. Everybody will not always agree,
That's right.
right? And to show them the right way of having a disagreement.
Yeah.
Um, Over explaining myself. I'm always over explaining myself, whether it's in personal or work related. And I know from you, Tunisia, and just us, conversing through our sisterhood, I keep it at a minimum of 2 minutes now. This is all I'm giving you, and you either take it or you don't,
Yeah.
and I've gained so much peace, from that. I don't have to over explain why I feel the way you feel or
Mm.
why the way I feel, it's either you understand it or you don't,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know. And I also understand that we all don't see things from the same lens, right? But this is my truth, and it's up to you for you to understand my truth, and let's work together in partnership. You know, come to this common ground together collectively. But this is my truth, and I'm going to stand in it. Um, so I am just bearing witness to my potential, what I can carry and what I can no longer carry. And when I tell you I am releasing, and I am definitely using my sacred nose. I started last week.
Mm-hmm.
Got off this call and they was hot off the press, and I was like, guess what? We are running with this. This is my sacred no. I'm standing in it, whether you like it or not, whatever comes with it. I have the tools to deal with that. So I give thanks. I'm so appreciative. Um,
So,
this is going to carry me into this week as well. Um, but I'm still grateful. I'm so grateful. I feel like you wrote this book about me. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I give thanks to both of you all for just having this space for us to come and to receive the teaching and really understanding and breaking down the words. Sometimes we believe that we know what words truly mean. And when you do a deep dive, breaking the word down, you can see it from a different lens. So I give thanks.
good things, good things, good things.
Yes,
No, like again, I mean, we're reflections of each other,
absolutely.
and that's why we have to share. We have to
Absolutely.
share, right? And they say it, and it is true that when you share authentically what you are moving through, you will attract those who are along the lines and aligned with that experience, either to help or just to hold your hand.
Yes.
Sometimes we underestimate how much we just need someone to hold our hand,
Yeah. Yeah.
in a season. We don't need them to do anything but just be present and hold a hand,
And that's really big for just even with the kings as we talk, as brothers, it's like, you know, vulnerability and sharing is needed.
Mhm.
And it's amazing to see how much that is like truly needed when a brother shares and another brother can be there to help you through it.
Mhm.
You know, and I always say that like on the calls, like it's not performance. Don't
Mhm.
don't, say something to perform for the spotlight for others. It's just really about sharing yourself, sharing what you're
Mhm.
going through, or sharing whatever it is. And that will attract whoever it is that is also either going through that or can relate to
Mhm.
that, that's been through that. Um, it's all about the sharing,
Yeah.
you know.
And I'm glad you brought it up because I think in the masculine experience, there's so much um I would say so many narratives out there around valuing men based on their doing,
Right.
what they do, what they provide, you know what I mean? Like it's all about the doing. And we all know that there's masculine and feminine energy within all of us. So the reality is, yeah, holding space
Right.
for the vulnerable side of the masculine experience could just look like being present
Mm-hmm.
and allowing someone to share and know that it is safe
Right.
to share
Mhm.
and to be vulnerable because so often men have not had that,
Right.
that
And
kind of
and you said
safety.
reflections. I mean, like you said, we're all reflections.
Yeah,
So I think that's the most important thing is understanding that it's never judgment. It's just reflections, different stages, different things we go
absolutely.
through, but it's all reflection.
Sure, sure. And Jack gracious, peace and blessings, sis.
Divine Rising.
Divine rising.
Oh, it is a honor and a pleasure to be here. I've been
Hey.
watching the replays.
Oh,
Yes,
good
now I'm
thing.
on Eastern Standard Time, so it's easier to join.
Yeah, yeah.
So many revelations. I'll share the main two that I've been talking about for weeks. So, one of the things that I learned from an elder recently, which has changed my trajectory, she said, "You don't have to do shit." And that
Make it
literally
plain.
changed my life. Changed my life. And so now I am consciously choosing instead of feeling like I have to or I need to.
Come
I'm
on.
consciously choosing every second, every minute, every hour, every day, like you said. And as a farmer or a steward of the land, I thought I had to do a lot of things
Mm,
for my family, for the community, for humanity. And so for me to choose to do it, it
mhm,
feels lighter,
mhm, mhm.
versus the heaviness of those burdens that
Mhm.
I was putting on myself. It's like, who put
Come
these,
on.
weights on me? I think I did, and so I feel like when we call ourselves the chosen one or chosen
Mhm,
ones, that's
mhm,
actually what it means, that you are consciously, deliberately, methodically choosing to be and do.
mhm,
And that takes those burdens, off of you, especially your heart, so that you can have a
mhm.
light heart in this lifetime, which is one of my main goals in this lifetime. And another one of the things that I've been talking about is how I am the matriarch, you could say, in the making.
Mhm,
And I'm always thinking about like, what type of matriarch do I want to be, even though, I'm 33.
mhm.
That's important that I think about it today because I'm creating the future today.
That's right.
And you talked about Big Mama, right? And so
Mhm,
that's the old school way,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
And I'm the modern day matriarch,
That's right.
right? Even in the Sacred Woman program, I would say like I'm the modern day sacred woman. I'm not
Mhm.
going to be just like Queen
Come
Afua,
on.
right?
Mhm. That's right. That's right.
I'm destined to pave the way, but in a different way
That's
because of who
right.
I am
Mhm,
and what the next generations need, right? 10 generations from now. And the old, school way was being, self sacrificial or
mhm.
selfless or abandoning self and betraying self. And I feel like one of the things that I'm here to teach people is how to surrender instead of sacrifice
Mhm.
their self. Being that savior and wanting to save people or even saving yourself. It's like,
Yeah.
what do you have to save yourself from? And I think the only thing you truly have to save yourself from is yourself.
Come
So
Mm,
once
on.
you get out your own way, then
Come
there's
on.
nothing and no one to save.
mm,
Mhm.
And yes, the archetype of the matriarch is evolving, from mm, a woman whose power was measured by how much she could endure
Yeah.
uh, to mm, being, a woman that truly knows her worth,
That's right.
knows her value. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I love about the matriarchs in my family, they are truly devoted, but would deplete their self.
Mm.
So it's
That's
like, how do I be devoted without inheriting, that desire to overwork or even, like you all explained, we can tend to over explain ourselves.
right.
Um, and yeah, just mm, giving from a place of wholeness, a place
Mhm.
of fulfillment, and uh, not erasing, yourself. I
mm,
think a lot of people don't know about self erasure and know that that is what they're doing because we don't always have these vulnerable discussions.
Mhm.
And, I honor all of the women that paved the way for me so I could think like I do now and
That's right.
do what I do now.
Mhm.
And so the old matriarch, proved her love by sacrificing herself, and the modern day matriarch embodies love by
Come
governing
on.
herself
Come on.
and honoring herself and,
Mhm.
truly being the epitome of love. And teaching people how to mm, serve, without disappearing and nurture without over functioning and loving without abandoning yourself.
That's right.
And I think that being a source of remembrance is key instead of wanting to fix, repair, and, be that uh, you could say emergency contact, for everybody
Yeah,
and doing things, when you don't have the capacity.
that's right.
right.
That's right. Not sure.
That's shame.
Wow,
Good things. Good things. There was so much in that.
Mm-hmm.
But oh yeah, I give thanks for it all. Give thanks for it all. And bringing us back to that key phrase, that key word, surrender. Surrendering to what is yours to carry. And I love the idea of the emergency contact, right?
Right.
You don't need to be on too many more blue cards,
Right.
right? Like just look, what is mine to
I
carry?
don't know. I think that saying though, you don't have to do shit. It's gonna just work something. That is
A t-shirt, Josh.
I'm telling you, it's about to be in my garage when you walk there. It's about to be somewhere because that was the word.
Just make it plain.
That's it.
The elder said to me.
Right.
Exactly. Giving thanks. So, all right. So we are at time, family. It is always just so nourishing to be in this space with
Yes.
you all. It's
Give thanks.
reflection for us as well. We feel held by you,
Yeah.
hoping that you feel held by us. It is
Same.
very much mutual in this space. So we give thanks and we'll close out.
Yes. Give thanks.
Yes.
Girl, everybody have a blessed day and thank you for exchanging energy with us this rising.
Mhm. So
And
we will
Give thanks. Thank you so much.
give
Ashe.
thanks. And we'll close with our
Repeat and recall again.
yes.
If you are in spirit to want to exchange energy, please unmute as I repeat and recall with y'all. All right. I say, I am remembering that I am someone who owns what is mine.
I am
I am
remembering
remembering
that I
I
am
am
someone
someone
who
who
owns
owns what
what
is
is
mine.
mine.
I do not perform what presence does not require.
I do
I
not
I
do
do
not
perform
not
perform
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 what
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 presence
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 does
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 not
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 require.
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 I carry only what I have consciously chosen.
I
I
I
carry
carry
only
carry
what
only
only
Carry
what
what
only
I
I
what
have
I
have
have
consciously
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 chosen.
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 I let my truth stand without asking permission.
I let
I
my
I
let my
let
truth
my
Let
truth
my
truth
truth
stand
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 without
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 asking
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 permission.
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 I bear witness to my own capacity without flinching from it.
I
I
bear
I
I
bear
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 witness
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 to
witness
my
to
to
own
my
my own
own
capacity
capacity
without
capacity
without
flinching
without
from
flinching
it.
from it.
flinching from it.
Ashe.
I am not becoming someone new.
I am
I'm
not
not
becoming
Becoming
I'm
becoming
someone
someone
not
new.
new.
becoming
new.
someone new.
I am finally willing to stand beside who I already am.
I'm
I am
I
finally
am
Finally
willing to
finally
finally
willing
stand
to
willing
stand
willing
to
to
beside
stand
who
beside
stand
I
beside
who
beside
I
already
who
who
I
I
already
am.
already
am.
already am.
Ashe.
Ashe,
Ashe.
ashe,
am.
family.
Mm.
Give thanks, give thanks. Have a great week, all. We will upload the recording and all clips into the school community, and we'll see you next week.
Love y'all. Blessings.
Love
Blessings.
you.
Peace and blessings. Good
Peace and
Blessings.
night.
I,
blessings.
Love.
I put the song in the
Ashe.
chat that you was talking about, Sister
Give
Tanasia.
thanks, give thanks. Thank you, Empress.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Have a beautiful rest of your time with Ashe.
Say
You
you as
too.
well.
Ashe.